In a single year, the world lost legends who shaped generations. Voices that defined childhoods. Faces that ruled the silver screen. Artists whose influence stretched far beyond fame. From Oscar winners to cultural icons, from beloved TV stars to global music pioneers, 2025 became a year marked not by celebration, but by farewell. And as the names kept coming, one question echoed louder than ever. How did one year take so many? This is a comprehensive look at the lives, legacies, and final moments of the iconic figures we lost in 2025. From Hollywood giants to international stars, this documentary explores not just who they were, but what they meant to the world, and why their absence feels so profound. We'll walk through the biggest losses across film, television, music, and sports, before diving deep into one of the most influential figures of them all. Because this isn't just a list of names. It's the story of an era, coming to an end. A year of unprecedented loss. The losses began early in the year, and they didn't slow down. Legendary British actress Joan Plowright passed away at 95, marking the end of a remarkable era of classical theatre and film. Soon after, the industry lost Val Kilmer, a defining Hollywood presence whose performances in films like Top Gun and Batman Forever made him unforgettable. But what happened next shocked everyone. Within months, the list of losses grew rapidly. Veteran actor Richard Chamberlain, known for his commanding presence in television epics, passed away at 90. Music icon Connie Francis, whose voice defined a generation, also left behind a legacy that shaped pop culture for decades. And then came July, a month that would prove especially devastating. In July alone, the world said goodbye to multiple cultural figures. Professional wrestling legend Hulk Hogan, a larger-than-life personality who helped define sports entertainment, died at 71. Just days later, actor Malcolm Jamal Warner, beloved for his role in The Cosby Show, passed away unexpectedly at 54. That's when things took a turn. The losses were no longer limited to aging legends. Younger stars, actors still in their prime, were now part of the headlines. Actress Michelle Trachtenberg, known for her roles in teen dramas and films, passed away at just 39. Australian actor Julian McMahon, widely recognized for his television roles, also died at 56. The pattern was becoming impossible to ignore. This wasn't just a Hollywood story. Across the world, icons from different cultures and industries were also lost. Japanese-American actor Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa, known for his powerful screen presence, passed away at 75. Swedish actor Bjorn Andersson, once dubbed the most beautiful boy in the world, died at 70. South Korean entertainment also mourned deeply, with the passing of veteran actress Kim Ji-ae and other notable figures. What many people didn't know was, behind each headline was a story, not just of fame but of resilience, reinvention, and impact. Robert Redford. The end of a Hollywood era. Among all the losses of 2025, one stood above the rest. Not just because of the name but because of what it represented. The passing of Robert Redford at 89 wasn't just the loss of an actor. It was the closing chapter of an entire era of filmmaking. The rise of a legend. Robert Redford didn't just act in films. He defined them. From Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid to All the President's Men. His performances weren't just memorable. They were transformative. But his journey wasn't always certain. Early in his career, Redford struggled to find his place in Hollywood. He wasn't the typical studio product. He resisted being boxed into a single image. And that resistance would become his greatest strength. Breaking the system. But what happened next changed Hollywood forever. Instead of following the traditional path, Redford began challenging the system itself. He sought creative control. He chose roles with depth. He prioritized storytelling over spectacle, long before it became mainstream. And then, he took it even further. The Sundance Revolution. In the 1980s, Redford founded what would become one of the most influential platforms in modern cinema. The Sundance Film Festival. At the time, independent filmmakers had limited opportunities. Studios controlled everything. Sundance changed that. It became a launchpad for new voices, bold stories, and groundbreaking films. What many people didn't realize was that Redford wasn't just building a festival. He was building an entirely new ecosystem for storytelling. Today, countless filmmakers owe their careers to that vision. Personal battles and private life. Despite his public success, Redford's personal life was marked by both triumph and tragedy. He faced profound loss within his family, moments that reshaped his outlook on life and work. Yet he remained deeply committed to causes beyond Hollywood, especially environmental activism. That's when things took another turn. Redford gradually stepped away from acting, choosing instead to focus on legacy over spotlight. Final years and lasting impact. In his later years, Redford became more reflective. He spoke less, but when he did, people listened. His final public appearances carried a sense of closure, as if he understood the weight of what he was leaving behind. And when news of his passing broke in September 2025, the reaction was immediate. Tributes poured in from across the globe, not just from actors, but from filmmakers, activists, and audiences whose lives he had touched. Because Redford wasn't just admired, he was respected. But Redford's story was just one among many. Throughout the year, audiences also said goodbye to Diane Keaton, a defining figure of modern cinema. Terence Stamp, whose performances spanned decades, Prunella Scales and Patricia Routledge, beloved figures in British television music pioneers like Marianne Faithfull and countless others whose work shaped culture across generations. And still, the announcements continued. Late into December, the world lost actor and voice star Jeffrey Garcia, musician Raul Mollo, and media figures whose contributions spanned decades. Felt unrelenting. But what made 2025 different wasn't just the number of losses. It was the timing, the overlap, the realization that entire generations of talent were disappearing, almost all at once. And perhaps most striking of all, many of these figures had once worked together, influenced each other, or built the very industries we know today. Which raises a deeper question. What happens when the architects of culture are gone? 2025 will be remembered as a year of profound loss. But it should also be remembered for something else. Legacy. Every name we've mentioned, every actor, musician, performer, left behind more than memories. They left behind stories. Stories that will continue to be watched, heard, studied, and felt for generations to come. Because while people may pass, their impact doesn't. And in that way they never truly leave us. If you found this documentary meaningful, consider subscribing for more in-depth stories like this. Because behind every headline, there's always a deeper story waiting to be told.